From the EQC studio, welcome to The Top Step with Ryan Rowland-Smith.
How we going, mates? Welcome back to another episode of The Top Step. It's Ryan Rowland-Smith. I'm inside the EQC studio, and we have got a special announcement. I'm going to be going from the EQC studio to the EQC Sportsbook. That's right, June 14th. We're going to be doing we're doing a live taping at the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook with my former teammate David Ardsman is going to be with me, and Charlie Furbush is going to be joining me. We're going to have a blast. We're going to be recording the show, watching some baseball right after we record the show. It's all happening. It's at the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. You can find us inside the Sportsbook. You can also find all the details if you go to at the Top Step TV. I'm going to be posting all the details, what time, and everything. It's going to be a blast. I can't wait. So make sure you go check it out. Speaking of checking it out, go to YouTube at the Top Step TV. You can see all the full-length interviews, all the extra content, some of my fun videos as well. I'm starting to get very creative over at YouTube. Go subscribe, mates. You help out the show, and you get to see all the good stuff over on the YouTube channel as well. We've got the How to Speak Australian segment coming up. I might even ask my guest this week. I can't wait to talk to this guy. I'm not going to give it away just yet. My special guest this week on the Top Step. So before I give it away, we do have to go to our first segment. We start the show off every week with what's trending around the Mariners and Major League Baseball with the top trends. All right, so this is kind of a fun one for me, and I'll explain why in a second, but this stat is brought to you by ilovebaseball.org. If you go to ilovebaseball.org, go check out the amazing things they do. $39 a month, you can support a young Dominican baseball player with everything they need off the field. They do some amazing things. So go check them out or go follow them at I Love Baseball as well. All right, so this fun little nugget comes from Alex Mayer. He's got plenty of them. If you follow Alex at Alex Mayer 34, he's part of the Mariners community, by the way. He works in their PR, and he's always got the best numbers. But check this out. Ryan Bliss makes his Major League debut wearing number 1, records his first hit and first stolen base. Now, you're looking at that going, but there's a bunch of number 1s. But I will say this, team. When you get to the big leagues, you usually get number 86, right? You usually get a high number. You're not going to get a number 1. So I love this, man. The fact that Ryan Bliss comes to the major leagues, he's got an amazing story. I love the fact that there's a little bit of interaction on social media with the Mariners before he even put on a Mariners uniform. I'm going to get to all that a little bit later on the show. Hint, hint. But this is super cool. Now, numbers are an interesting one for me. Numbers mean everything. Now, my number, I used to wear number 18. I loved it, man. I had a team number. Are you kidding me? I was a nobody coming from Australia. I was 24 years old. I never forget. I get put on the Major League roster, and I got number, number 53. And I'm looking at it going, 53. I can work with that. That's fine. That's not too bad. That's not 78. Some of my friends were getting 78, 86, you name it. So I get number 53. Then all of a sudden, guess what? Arthur Rhodes signs back. You know what number he was? Number 53. So I literally spent, I'm not joking, I spent like January, February, all the way going into spring training, good month and a half, with just a line next to my name on the roster. I'm like, what's my number going to be? I knew I was getting 97 because all the other numbers were taken. And then lo and behold, boom, it pops up on the internet, number 18. I'm like, hold on, number 18, but I'm just a rookie 24-year-old punk from Australia. Number 18, I'm getting a team number going into spring training. I rock up day 1 at spring training, and I got number 18. The reason why Ted Walsh, who was the clubby, said, look, dude, we had no other numbers. Otherwise, it's triple digits. I'm like, I got number 18. Are you kidding? I was loving it. I'm like, this is it. I had no, my number, I had no, nothing to do when I was a kid. Like, number 18 when I made my first whatever. No. Number 18. And sure enough, it stuck with me my whole Mariner time. Now, I was number 50 with the Arizona Diamondbacks as well. That was kind of like there's a backstory there with one of my best friends who wore number 50. If you can figure that out, make sure you tweet it at me. Grant Balfour, he wore number 50. So I wanted to wear number 50. It's kind of like him as well. But I had number 18. I was loving it. And then sure enough, I come across this photo right here. This is the first day I ever played baseball. 12 years old. And look at the number. Can you believe it? So numbers, I love it. When guys have a certain number, I love to ask them about that. But Ryan Bliss was wearing number 1. That's the number he got. He wore number 2 in the Arizona Fall League. And this is significant. Now, of course, Alex Mayer, we've got to have him on this show, man. He's got all kinds of numbers. But the fact that he can pull this up is pretty amazing. He's pretty clever when it comes to numbers. So, a little backstory behind that. And that just gave it away. My guest this week, of course, is one of the newest Mariners, and that is Ryan Bliss. I can't wait to talk to this guy. There's so much I want to ask him about. I love watching him play already. He's going to be joining me right after the break. Don't go anywhere. Keep it right here on the Top Step.
I live in Tacoma, and I'm all about the action. From making a run at the tables to multiple pay lines on my favorite machines. Game time. The sportsbook is better than being on the 50-yard line or sitting courtside. And I'm here for it. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
All right, welcome back inside the EQC studio. Now, joining me, very happy to talk to this guy. By the way, I have never met him in person yet. I meant to do it last week. But joining me inside the EQC studio is one of the newest Seattle Mariners, Ryan Bliss. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here.
Since you got to the big leagues, like the last week, have you just gotten like random people sending you DMs on Instagram?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I have all my DM requests are pretty full, but it's still pretty cool to see that.
Now, speaking of social media, and I want to get to the bottom of this because I still haven't gotten the explanation just yet. The Mariners put out this really cool photo, man. It was so cool. It's basically you standing on the field, and this is when you got called up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So you get called up. They take this, really nice photo, and there's a little caption tweet in there, which basically reads, and this is in 2014, right? So I want to get to the bottom of this. It's at the Mariners, so you're adding them. So you're basically writing them. I don't know if you're replying or what. I'm going to ask you in a second. But at Mariners, at MLB, one day my dream, it says, or my dream one day. I can't remember. But what did that come from? What were you writing to the Mariners about in 2014?
Yeah, it's crazy that a tweet came back. It was 2014. That was my freshman year of high school. I think I was just at home. And around that time is when I started really watching MLB and really understanding the game and really, seeing everything. So I think I saw T-Mobile and I replied to the Mariners saying I really love T-Mobile. It was a beautiful stadium. It still is a beautiful stadium. And I just replied to the Mariners, I want to play there one day. It's my dream to play at a field like this or play in T-Mobile Park. And 10 years later, I make my debut in T-Mobile Park. It's pretty cool.
That's wild. And the Mariners dug up that tweet, right? Did that come from them?
Yeah, I forgot I tweeted that.
Wow.
I 100% forgot I tweeted that. I mean, that was, like I said, 10 years ago. I probably just got Twitter and I was trying to figure out how to do it and I lucked it. So, I mean, it's crazy that it came back around.
Yeah, no, it's wild. I saw that and I was like, hold on a sec, because when I first saw that photo, like the Mariners, welcome to the big leagues, Ryan Bliss and the whole thing, and I'm looking at that, and then I didn't look at it closely enough. I'm like, oh yeah, he's just writing this tweet, no big deal. And I was like, hold on a minute, that's 2014.
2014, 10
and the
years
whole
ago.
time, and I'm trying to dig. This is the last couple of days. I was trying to dig to say, okay, what was the connection there? But be honest, dude. Now, be honest to all the Mariner fans. Come clean. How many of the 30 teams did you at saying, hey, man, this is where I want to play when you're 14 years old?
I don't, you know what? I can't even answer that because I don't even remember. I didn't even know I tweeted that at the time. So it may have just been the Mariners. I'm just going to go with that.
Gotcha. Okay. Who's had the biggest influence on you in that clubhouse, in your short time or even in spring training? Like, who's the guy who you're like, man, like you have to not learnt a lot, but just rubbed off in a good way?
Yeah, I mean, off the bat, JP. JP, he's the man. Even coming to spring, just as far as just me watching him day to day, how he goes about he's one of the best at what he does. He just go about his day as a professional, as an everyday shortstop, seeing how he preps, seeing how he goes about. That's been great to me to watch, asking him questions, talking to him. I would say JP's been good. All the guys have been really good. Josh Rojas has been good to me, talking to me about the mental side of the game, helping me with understanding baseball at a deeper level. So, those two guys have been good, and everybody collectively has been really good to me. So I've been happy.
Is the relationship with JP, is that something that coaches say, all right, hey JP, look, we've got Ryan here at spring training, introduce you guys, can you help him out? Or do the coaches say that, hey Ryan, hey, make sure you step up here and go hang out with JP? Or is it something where JP comes to you? How does that work, like in spring training? Or do you go seek that out yourself?
Yeah, I think it's just to each his own. I think that's just part of learning too. One thing too, you can't be afraid to ask questions or ask, or you can't be afraid to learn. I think that's one thing I've seen is, as soon as I got there, I started asking questions, started just observing myself. Hey, why do you do that? What does that do? What do you have on this? Why does your ball do this and my ball do this? How do you do this and I can't do that? I just straight up ask. I think I'm not sure, but I don't think that it's in said stone, like, hey, take care of this guy. I think it's most of it's natural, and just wanting to go and get that help or seek the wisdom or the guidance. So I think that's part of it.
Were you going back to the trade when you came over from the D-backs? Were you shocked when you were traded? Was it a big surprise to you?
Yeah. Not because it's just I've never gotten traded before. In college, I was at the same college. I'd never been to another team in the middle of my career like that. So it was a big change for me. Yes, I was surprised just because I didn't know. I didn't think I heard my name circulating anywhere. I just, I was playing well with the D-backs, so I just didn't know. But yes, I was very much surprised. A good surprise, and it's been good to me so far.
Yeah, no, it's super cool, dude. I've got to say, you mentioned playing well with the D-backs. 2023, I was looking at your AA numbers. You hit, 360, 12 bombs? What was it like going into that year, that into 2023? Like, was there something you changed in the off season, or you're like, you know what, man, like, was it someone you were around, or what do you feel like made you go off in 2023?
Yeah. So in 2022 was my first full season. I did not have the year that I wanted to have. It was a pretty rough year for me. I got away from myself. Like, I just didn't feel like the player that I knew I was, the player that I was when I got drafted. So I basically went to the off season. I didn't make any real big swing mechanic changes. I didn't. What I did was I worked on my mental and my understanding of the game, and I understood that I was athletic enough. My game was, I knew I could play. I knew I could play at this level. Obviously, the team wanted me. I think this had to be sharpened. So I spent the whole offseason sharpening my mind, reading books, understanding my approach, finding my identity, finding who I was as a player, and just trying to really push focus on those and not focus on something I wasn't. So I really just got back to myself. I tried to keep things simple, worked on my mental, and 2023 was a good season.
Dude, that's so good to hear, man, because it's so tough. Like, you come out, you're a high round draft pick. You come out of a place like Auburn. It's like everything's smooth sailing, and then all of a sudden, man, it hits you. Like, it hits everyone.
It's crazy too, because I remember in the orientation when you get drafted. I think you remember you get there you're in low A rookie ball, and they kept saying, no, baseball's gonna hit you in the mouth. Baseball's gonna hit you in the mouth. Yeah. I'm like, no, man, I've been cool my whole life. It's never hit me in the mouth, and it hit me hard my first season. Oh, yeah. And I think, I needed that in a way, and I think I just came out stronger. I think I became out a different baseball player that next season. I just saw the game differently. I had a different respect for the game. I had a different love for the game, a deeper love for the game, and I embraced the struggle. I embraced it, and it's just one thing that I think that you just got to learn as a baseball player. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen again, and that's the thing.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. You know what? I will say this. Couple things. First of all, I signed for like 30 G's, and they misspelled my name when I came into camp. So I wasn't like you. You were a high round pick, and they're probably like, here, Ryan, this, welcome. You get the red carpet. But I will say, and people say, oh man, it must have been tough if you didn't sign for a whole lot of money. I was like, it's kind of advantageous because you get to A-ball. And you're around a bunch of studs, and I'm already sort of prepped to be like, oh man, I'm gonna have to just fight my way out of this. But some dudes, man, I played with some guys signed for a ton of money, and they just could not figure it out. Like, they couldn't figure it out because little league, high school, college, studs, ton of cash. They've been told, hey, look, they're not going to do anything with you because you've signed for a bunch of money. You're a big investment. You're a big priority this, priority that. And 4 years in, man, it's like they're sitting there going, well, what happened? You know?
This game is hard, man. I've seen it. Like you said, I've seen that. I've seen that exact thing happen. It's just, guys, it's a tough game. I think, guys, people don't realize that. Yeah, this is what we do is hard, is physically, but half and most of the battle is up here.
Oh,
I think that's like you said, it's 70% mental, 30% physical. I truly believe that. I think if find a way to sharpen that and really get right with yourself and understanding yourself, I think you would see a different outlook of the game.
I want to go to your call-up story, man. Nothing better when you hear a rock-solid call-up story. Your parents are about to fly home, but they've been hanging out for a week or something in Tacoma. Is that right?
Yeah, it was Memorial Day weekend. So they came up just for the weekend, weekend, and was gonna go home. After the game, my girlfriend and I were about to take my parents to the airport for the red eye back to Atlanta.
The red eye, ugh.
Yeah, the red eye. And Skip called me. John Russell called me into the office, the manager at Tacoma, and said, "Hey, you won't be making the flight to SAC because you're making a team." So called up everyone real quick. We all met back at the front of the gate, and then made our way up to Seattle. It was pretty cool and pretty awesome that they were still there.
Did John Russell? I've never met John Russell. Was he animated? Did he do a fun trick you story
no.
or nothing?
If you know John Russell, if you know him, if you ever played for him, you can very much picture he's come in, Rhino, you're going to the bigs. That's how he is.
Really?
Give me a big hug. That's just how he is. He's awesome. Awesome guy, awesome manager. But there was definitely no loud voices. It was just very, very, very cool moment.
When Polanco went on the aisle, did you know he was on the aisle before you got the call?
No, I didn't even know he got hurt. Nobody did. I was a day game in Tacoma. I was just treating it like a regular game, so I just went out there, was playing.
Gotcha.
I didn't even know. I had no idea. Just playing a regular game, and after the game, I get the call, so that made it feel a little bit better too.
Because you know what the worst is in Tacoma? Because I was in Tacoma when I made my debut. Right? Oh, and actually, no, take that back. I was in, where was I? Round Rock, I think I was, when I found out I was going to the big leagues. But when you're in Tacoma, the problem is you get all the Mariner games, so they're always playing. I don't know if they're always playing when you guys are down there. But someone will get taken off the field, and all of a sudden, man, in the dugout, everyone's like, oh, hey, did you see? Well, who's going up? Everyone plays GM for a good hour and a half. And then all of a sudden, they make some movie I wasn't expecting that.
It wasn't even close. Yeah, I tried. That is one I tried my very best not to play GM. So if I hear something, your chatter, I just close my ear and just go on. So it may have been talking to the dugout. I had no idea. I was just trying to focus on doing my best for this game.
Oh man, it's especially around trade time too, when guys oh dude, you're gonna get traded, and then it's completely nothing.
It's somebody that we weren't even thinking about. I've seen it too many times.
Or the worst is I remember being back in A-ball, and then the team will bring in 6 friggin' A-ball guys for one play. They're oh man, we're screwed now. All right. So he lets you know, you go outside, and did your parents? I mean, did your parents have an idea because someone's hey, go see the manager and all that, or were they just in shock?
Everybody was just in shock. I didn't tell them. Awesome. I just said meet me by the front entrance gate. So I didn't give them. Gotcha. I didn't really tell them. Then I just said, hey, meet me by the front entrance gate before I come outside or something like that. So I kind of had an element of surprise to it.
Gotcha. And that was a Sunday, right?
It was a Sunday, yes. It was a Sunday.
Okay. And then Monday was first game. What was that?
Monday was the debut at home. Yes, against the Astros. Yes.
That's right. Tell me, what was that drive up the I-5 like? You could have been stuck in gridlock traffic and you got a giant smile on your face, right?
Oh, I wouldn't have cared. I would have gotten out the car and just sat on the hood waiting on the car. I would have stayed there all night. That drive was cool, especially I remember it was a beautiful day in the Seattle area, right. Which was It probably rained the night before, so it was just everything seemed like it was perfect because it wasn't rain in Seattle. We had no traffic coming up the 5 towards the city. And I think if people know that little turn right before you get to the city coming from south on the 5, It was beautiful. The city was lit up. Nice. It was like a commercial, like a movie. The city was there. It was perfect. I just smiled the whole way.
Were you with your parents? Were they in the car?
Yes. Yes, parents, girlfriend, everybody on the way to the city. Man. It was sick.
Oh, I love it.
I love playing my games and watching my points multiply. I love a good deal with all the perks. Because while I'm shooting for a crown jewel, I collect lots of great gifts along the way. And I'm here for it. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Now, because you're playing along here, we're going to keep you for the How to Speak Australian segment. Now, have you ever been to Australia? You ever met anyone from Australia? And you ever played with an Australian?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Because your teammate, Taylor Saucedo, he was on here, 2 weeks ago? And I'm giving him the word, and he's like, dude, I lived in Australia for 3 months. I was like, what? He played Winnable down there. So
okay,
I was like, man, he's going to kill this. But he didn't get the word, actually. I gave him a tough one. This is an easier one. All right, so we'll see. All right, so we've got the How to Speak Australian segment brought to you by the Kangaroo and Kiwi Aussie pub in Ballard. Ryan Bliss, if you're hanging out in Seattle a lot, I'm telling you right now, I know you're driving from Tacoma. I don't know if you're going to move up to Seattle at some point, but you got to go to the Kangaroo and Kiwi. It's an Aussie pub. It's awesome. That's where I go when I want to have a beer with my mates. So the word is tucker. It's spelled Tucker. And do you know what that means before I give you a sentence?
No.
Tucker. All right. I'm going to give you a sentence. This might give it away. Okay, I'm going to make it a little tougher. All right. Go. I've got a long day at work. What do you got for Tucker? What have you got for Tucker today?
It's got to be dinner or supper.
Dude, nailed it. It's lunch. It's food. Congratulations.
Food. Yes.
It's food.
Yes.
So
food.
Tucker. So Tucker bag, Tucker box is like a lunch box. Boom. Lunch. It's probably more lunch. I'm going to get ripped
more
for
lunch.
This.
That's fine.
I have messed these up before and given the wrong.
You said after work, so that's why I was like dinner.
I said during
Context.
work. During work.
During work.
During work. Yeah. So Tucker means food. Now, if you do want to play along, How to Speak Australian, put hashtag TTSmate. Now, Ryan's already beaten you to it. But you can go on social media at the Top Step TV, and you can just give me a silly explanation, and you get a chance to win some great giveaways, some game tickets, and some other stuff. Big thanks, Ryan Bliss, for joining us this week on the Top Step, dude. Awesome, man. I'm glad we've had a chance to chat.
For sure. So. Yeah, sounds good. Thank you, Ryan.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, listen, dude, kill it on the road. Keep doing your thing, man. It's fun to watch you.
I got you. Thank you.
All right, special thanks to my guest, Ryan Bliss. Now, if you do want to check out the entire interview, we talked for a good 45 minutes. Make sure you go to YouTube at the Top Step TV. Go subscribe. You support the show when you do that too. So I appreciate it, mate. Be part of the Top Step community. Come down to the Emerald Queen Casino June 14th. Come hang out with me, my brother-in-law David Ardsman, Charlie Furbush. We're going to have a blast hanging out at the sports book, watching some baseball after we record the show. You might even find yourself in the background too of the show. Hey, well, how about that? You can't come here in the EQC studio, but you can come to the EQC Sportsbook on June 14th. All right, mates. I'm going to go get some tucker in my belly. We'll see you next week right here on the Top Step.